Hey guys, I recently watched a video on the Inventors 101 page of how they fix plastic stuff with super glue and styrofoam. So I recently removed the rear bumper of my Infiniti and I saw that I not only did I have a stress crack on the left side, see how it runs down, but I also have it on the right side, like really bad. And after watching that video, I decided I might as well try to fix it myself. Why not? Because I can buy a new bumper for $350 or so, but then you have to pay to get it prepped and painted if you want it done correctly. Next thing you know, you're $1,000 into the repair. So why not give this a shot? So these are the tools I have. I brought an X-Acto blade, I have the super glue, and I have gloves. One of the comments on the video said, hey, this is an incredibly, really toxic fume, so make sure you have adequate protection. So I do have an N95 mask. I don't know if it's the right mask, but it's better than not having anything. And I'm going to open the garage door to make sure I get adequate ventilation.
Oh, forgot to add styrofoam is obviously one of the ingredients. So this thing is playing at 1x speed. So one of the challenges that I had was on the other side of the garage, I have a mini split to kind of provide some airflow, plus the garage is kind of hot. But the styrofoam was so light, it kept kind of blowing it out of place. So once I got it in place, it's all about timing. I started putting the super glue on it, and the super glue instantly kind of stamped it down, I guess. It didn't really glue it in place. More on that soon. But it started deteriorating it just as it does in the video.
Took it a second to settle in. Makes me wonder how accelerated it is online.
We have no idea how long it actually took for it to dry up. I know that throughout the course of me trying this with the foam, it's probably 20 or 30 minutes. And that also includes me going into the house.
This shit is running all over the place. Oh well. Let's clean this up with this rag. Ooh, you guys see that?
See the chemical reaction caused by the super glue on the microfiber.
Look at that. Some toxic shit. You go ahead and open the garage door.
Yeah, so I forgot to open the garage door and the ventilation was getting really bad. One of the biggest challenges that I had was because of the shape of this bumper, just holding it perfectly in place while I kept trying to apply the glue. It didn't harden up at all as you would expect it to. In fact, if I used just normal super glue, it probably would have worked.
Okay, they didn't quite work the way I expected it to.
See, this is sped up 500x. That's me just trying to hold it in place, just searching for some sort of a beginning of a bond.
So I'm doing a little bit differently than they're doing it. Because it doesn't quite work. I think on the video it's a lot faster. Maybe time accelerated, time lapse. This just made a mess.
Also, another thing is this is a clean break, but it's also a very complex break. Whereas in the videos, you'll see that they're dealing with flat surfaces or perfect corners. This is sped up 1000x, and I keep waiting for this thing to get hard or harden up a little bit, and you can still see how gummy it is. So I can't even imagine if I were to keep layering styrofoam and adding more glue, it's still going to take forever because it's even thicker than it was at the beginning. And again, the challenge is with this bumper being the shape that it is, I didn't have a proper bumper stand or anything. Right now it's on a folding table, like an 8-foot folding table. But again, as I said, this is sped up, and you see as I apply more super glue and it just keeps running all over the place, pretty much avoiding the crack, the one thing that I'm actually trying to fill.
Another method was using cotton swabs, cotton. So maybe I'll use cotton on the other side. Okay, I've done the cotton swab on this side, spread it out. It's not as good as maybe pure cotton like the video, but it got really hot. I could see it steaming when it was working, and it is pretty hard, although there are still some wet spots. I used that metal tape to spread it around with because you don't want to touch it because it is dangerously hot. So I'll let it sit for a while. It is, like I said, it's starting to get hard. So I'll come back and check it in a little bit. And if it's hard enough to where it doesn't spread, then I'm gonna take a knife and see if I can kind of cut around it and just kind of reshape that area. Okay, it's been about 2 hours since I was in the garage last, and just took my X-Acto knife and pulled away some of the loose cotton. This is actually pretty hard, quite hard. But right here, as you can see, it kind of broke away, and it's kind of an even break. So I would say that even if I sand this down and even it all out, try to smooth it out, it's probably not gonna be as strong as I'd anticipated. Which doesn't matter, the plan was to just put that over here anyway, but you know, you don't know till you try. Okay, here we go. You know, it's not bad. You know, the prep work wasn't the best, but I did shove, as you guys saw, I put the super glue in here. I've shoved the cotton in here, and I let it dry, and it's very hard. I tried to cut it with a knife, and I couldn't, so as you saw, I had to take the Dremel. This is super rough. I could smooth this off with some finer grit sandpaper, and I would say it's a success. Yeah, for sure with the cotton, a success. Does it work? Yeah, it works, but it doesn't work for everything, and it depends on what you're doing. Plus, more practice. Maybe practice makes perfect.
Let me stop myself there. The science obviously works. That page, Inventor 101, you guys should check it out. It is just full of a ton of remarkable yet highly impractical solutions to a lot of our normal everyday problems. It's more for show, like, wow, this is really cool. But even in the case of this, would you really try to do what I did? First off, the fumes are highly toxic. The amount of heat that takes place when you add those chemicals, when you add the super glue to cotton, it produces such a chemical reaction, it could burn the hell out of you. I could actually feel the heat without even touching it. Just being close, you can feel the immense heat coming off. So it's very dangerous. You know, adequate ventilation if you're going to just play around with stuff like that. I'm not here to try to be the science guy, but I'm just a car guy trying to find other ways to do little things. And when you see stuff on YouTube, sure, why not try them out? In the real world, obviously we would use epoxy. Epoxy is so inexpensive. There's a lot of inexpensive solutions out there. Hell, Bondo, if you really wanted to do that. I didn't. I just wanted to see how it would work. I would say that the cotton worked a lot better, at least for this application, the cotton and super glue than the foam, the styrofoam and super glue. But again, there's no indication of how long it actually really takes for these parts to cure. So again, there's tons of over-the-counter solutions. Just saying in these specific examples, these specific use case for trying to fix a bumper that I didn't care that much about anyway, I would say it was a failure. Guys, if you like that, if you thought this was fun and interesting, share it with a friend. Comment down below if you have anything else to add. Don't be mean. Again, I'm just some guy. I'm not some sort of super scientist. If it's worth your time, hit subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys next time.